Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, I wanted to start you off with some science. I know, facts. We could use some of those every once in a while. I just think that sometimes we should be reminded that, facts over feelings, y'all. And for years, those feelings have been looking to blame society's ills on, well, anything, often citing gaming as a major problem. Just like violence, which has been disproven to have any link to games. Other societal issues like over-sexualization and objectification have come up as well. However, in new research published in Computers and Human Behavior, link in the description, they found that playing video games with sex, sexy bits, sexy characters, sexy anything, didn't lead to over-sexualization, misogynistic views, or detrimental mental health outcomes. I've been studying the effects of video games on players for 2 decades now, most of it on violence. I think most people have come to accept that there's no relationship between violent video games and aggression or violent crime, explained study author Christopher J. Ferguson, a professor of psychology at Stetson University. However, people still ask a lot of questions about sexualization and whether games either make male players more sexist towards women, or whether women players experience more body dissatisfaction or other well-being concerns. It's a much smaller research field than the violence field, so we hope to bring some clarity to it. So the team went about using meta-analysis, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically just using statistics to take a bunch of data from separate independent studies and merge or synthesize them to come up with an overall picture. On 18 studies they did this, measuring exposure to general or sexualized video games. 15 of the studies measured aggression towards women or sexist attitudes, while 10 studies measured outcomes related to depression, body image, or anxiety. And much like violence, they found no statistical significant links, as I'm sure y'all probably figured out. Overall, the moral panic over video games and sexualization is pretty much following the paint-by-numbers pattern of the video game debate. Lots of hyperbole and moral outrage, but very little evidence that video games are causing any harm to either male or female players, Ferguson told SciPost. The real harm, of course, is people bringing their shitty attitudes into the game. Racism, sexism, misogyny, whatever, bringing it into the game from the outside. And that's influenced by family, friends, community, whatever, but it's just easier to blame music or games or TV rather than, look in the mirror. In other totally different and ridiculous news, y'all hear about that time John Cena saved Metroid? Today we learned about that time back in 2017 when John Cena was just looking out for the world and asking his reps to contact Nintendo in the hopes they would be receptive of his love for a new 2D Metroid game. I guess he was part of a Nintendo Switch event, and while he was there, he was hanging out, doing his PR thing, and he brought up the fact that he would love a new 2D Metroid. He asked to meet with the president of the company, but unfortunately, they couldn't see him. It's a joke. It's not only did Nintendo send him a copy, but he messaged back about how much he loved it, and honestly, it's kind of a nothing story, but I enjoy it, and frankly, I think we could all use some fun right now. So that is your John Cena story of the week, I guess. Speaking of the week, there we go. It's time for new releases. It appears this week is just all about game updates, DLCs, and expansions. Starting with Cuphead, the delicious Last Course DLC on Thursday. Join Cuphead, Mugman, and now Miss Chalice as they jump back into your life to frustrate you with beautifully hand-drawn levels and murder machine bosses. New weapons, new charms, but sadly no new way to play with friends? My kingdom for online play. I guess that's why Parsec exists. Also on the 30th, Outriders World Slayer. The expansion for the 1 to 3 player sci-fi looter shooter is here. It honestly looks like they heard all my complaints about the first one, getting lost in all the side quests, wishing for more story, and then they said, Jesse, we got you. Continue with your existing character or start up a new one, fresh at level 30 with a bunch of gear, new powers, new abilities, just all the things that scream, all right, I'll come back and check it out. And then the last one I know you're gonna love, the Jackbox Party Starter comes out the same day to make all your get-togethers or live streams that much more fun. They've packed 3 fan favorites from across the Jackbox verse. Is that a thing? And given them to you in a fun baby's first Jackbox. Quiplash 3, Trivia Murder Party 2, and the always hilarious TKO. I can't even tell you how many shirts I've almost bought from this damn game. Play with up to 8 players, or if you want, 10,000 audience members. You know, family gatherings and such. Speaking of family gatherings, we're all family over on patreon.com/Jesse Cox, where you can hang out with Talisa, CPU Dude 30K, and Jacob Bloomer. Anyway, that is it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow with another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.